What is up, you beautiful people? This is Gary Horne, and this is the NWA. It's the show celebrating the past, present, future, history, legacy, and tradition of the greatest pro wrestling entity of all time. Of course, we're talking about the National Wrestling Alliance. I didn't bring my blue thing to poke at the screen. I'm sorry that I missed the memo on that.
Bottom row has you.
Yeah.
We didn't even talk about that. That just happened.
I just had blue things on my desk.
Yeah, I don't have say, I totally missed the memo on this. What?
That's also blue.
I got a blue background.
Yeah, that'll work.
That's my
Gary, we have to talk.
I've been lonely.
For a second.
I got something that's blue.
Gary, we have to talk for a second. We just watched that wonderful intro to this wonderful podcast that I'm sure people enjoy. And there's only one current champion that is accurate in your intro, that being Camille.
Time to update that, I guess.
Got to do some updates there.
Well, let's change. Listen, we don't have a full-time media department here. This is pro wrestling.
That's Dealz. Dealz is full-time
he's
media.
not in the opening
Obviously.
signature.
Media is Dealz. You know that. Look at that man right there.
Oh man, look at Dealz dropping it in the chat himself. Dealz.
That's not me. That's my cousin.
Your cousin, Anthony Lucasio. He
Yeah.
makes maker of the fine keyboards. That guy.
I'm not going to lie. Sometimes when I write that guy's name, I put 2 C's in it, I think.
Okay. That makes
I'm
sense.
just saying that I have a real hard time spelling that Lucasio.
Well, I am here with
hard time pronouncing it too.
Well, I say Lucasio usually,
There
but
you
then he
go.
said it, and I thought he was right, and I've been wrong this whole time. I have incredible self-doubt.
Gary's from South Carolina. Don't hold against him.
Whoa.
You can't hold anything
don't
against him. He's
hate.
busy holding his cousin against himself.
Whoa! Oh, there it is. I love that.
I'm sorry. I mean, just look at me. I look like a dirt bag. I got no sleeves on. I'm covered with tattoos.
You
and I
never
got
have
poor
sleeves
facial
on.
hair. What can I say?
Mm.
Anyway, welcome.
Welcome to the show. That's Kyle Davis. There's Danny
We're
Dealz.
really getting the hang of this intro.
Wil
Yeah,
Martin's here. I swear to God. Joe Galli's here. He's still rubbing. I have no idea.
That's a back scratcher.
I'm terrified.
It is a terrifying device.
Hey, real quick in the chat. I don't know if you know this, but they're renaming Monkeypox tomorrow. What do you think they're going to rename it to?
Ooh.
Kyle Pox.
That would be my go-to.
I do
Chimp
like some Levin.
pox.
I'm just curious. Like, did they throw it out there? I feel like they should have put it on social media to get some
They should call it
feedback.
Taylor
Like a
pox.
Twitter poll.
Yeah, like
Taylor.
a Twitter poll. Dealz Pox.
Twitter Pox sounds pretty good.
No, Taylor pox.
Something
Dealz
scientific.
box. There it is. Nathan says
Right?
it.
Taylor from Planet of the Apes. Remember? Get your stinking paws out.
You know what? Speaking of, let's
I
give
was
a
thinking
shout
Taylor
out to
Swift. I like
Axel.
Taylor Swift.
Axel, John Gott, Scott Bomer, Doty's in the chat, Roy Caps, Nathan Licklider,
Axl Rose.
Roy
100% Axl Rose, Jedi Warrior, all of you guys for being in the chat. Thank you so much. Cream Brulee is here, and I like this. Let's see. Gary looks ready to kill in the slide. Please ask Danny to talk to the boss and see if we can have an NWA ornament this year, please. He wants a Christmas ornament, Danny.
We'll get a Halloween.
Not a hood. Not a hood.
We haven't even gotten to Halloween yet. I don't even want to think
not
about
possible.
Christmas yet.
Oh, by the way, Garrison, I did not tell you because I did.
That's a trade.
Oh, like
Somebody's ring doorbell just go
like a
off.
tune.
It wasn't mine. It's clearly Danny. A trade is in the warehouse.
It's the deliveries.
Savages. Who takes the train anymore? Anyway,
Sure.
I didn't get a chance to tell you because I just now did it for the Dealyites. I
Discount
made a
code?
code, a 20% code. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
It's 74.
7-4.
Wait. Okay.
ISH.
So this is not easy. This is not like a
ISH.
Whoops, not that one.
74-ish.
Yes. Deals.
74.
74-ish deals because it's not quite 74. Kyle
incredible.
thought it was next week, and it's
Sounds
not.
like a combination an idiot would have on their luggage.
Yes.
There it is. Use promo code 74ish deals.
That's 20%.
20%.
You're a liar. It's not 25. It's 20.
Sorry, I forgot to change.
Can't
that word
deceive the
part.
people. What are you, a politician? What are you doing?
Yes.
Speaking of which,
20%
Danny Dealz
off.
running for office. NWA USA GM. Vote.
That is correct among them.
Actually, guys, real talk. It is important to vote. And this is the time of year where essentially, if you're part of a party, you can go do the primaries and stuff like that. So get out there. Tuesdays, Florida. If you're a part of it, please go out there. Whether or not you agree with what I think, let your voice be heard either way. It's important. Thank you very much.
That is noble of you, Kyle, to mention all of that. And on this wrestling,
it set in the tone of Gary.
I was doing my sample ballot earlier today, and I was learning about my local politicians here in Ormond Beach. So that's why I was like, all right.
All right. Well, everybody got the promo code 74ish deals for 20% off at the National Wrestling Alliance.com/shop. We are not going to waste any time here because we're a little late getting started. A lot of people here tonight. And I know why you're here, because you heard we have a special guest. That special guest is going to show up in just a moment. But, of course, we're going to talk to EC3 here in just a moment about NWA 74 and all of his goings-on. But first, we are going to play this little ad for NWA 74 right at the top here that lets you know.
Hit it, Kyle.
Yeah, well, it is going to be Kyle. Not live, but Kyle will talk about NWA 74.
Shut up, Kyle.
Yeah. You can't shut up Kyle because he just is on every.
I control my narrative. I control my narrative.
Yeah. Anyway, I've got the video somewhere. All right. Well,
you know what? Play it?
Yeah. All right. Fine.
Wrestling at the Chase is back August 27th and 28th as the NWA returns to the historic Chase Park Plaza Hotel in St. Louis, Missouri for NWA 74. 2 nights of incredible action featuring title defenses from all the NWA champions. Plus, NWA wrestling legends will be in the Coruscant Ballroom for NWA's 74th anniversary extravaganza. Tickets are moving fast, so get yours now at NWATix.com. That's NWATix.com. The NWA, wrestling as it's meant to be.
All right, we're back. Just that fast. And now the show got 100% better because EC3
on the big
is...
screen. Nobody wants to see you.
Nobody wants to see
There
him.
you go.
There he is.
All right.
All right. He's on the big screen now. EC3, thank you for joining us. This is the first time I've ever talked to you, but I'm a huge fan. My name's Gary. Nice to meet you. Thanks for doing the show.
Gary, thank you for having me. NWA Brass, thank you for having me. NWA fans, thank you for having me. How are we today?
We're doing fantastic. And I just want to say everybody's super excited. I'm super excited for you to be a part of NWA 74, going against big, strong Mims, obviously a competitor there with some strength, but you have some strength as well, not only physically, but mentally. Can you just tell the fans a little bit, control your narrative, give us a little background story?
Yeah, physical strength, mental strength, but most importantly, spiritual strength. I have an ascended character at this point. I have reached the higher level. I am on the top of my game, mentally, spiritually, physically. What can I tell you that's going on? A lot. I pretty much started an entire promotion with one camera and one gray wall. Now I have a television deal. Now I have a live event tour. Now I have the world of wrestling questioning exactly what control your narrative is. And very soon we shall all find out. But what is great is the NWA's platform, because out of any of the current products that I can't stomach, I can't watch current wrestling, I can't fathom it. It ruins my creative mind. It ruins my complete mojo. NWA remains true to what this industry and this sport is about. And for that, respect.
And you've already kind of gotten the foot in the door with that control your narrative. We've had Jamie Stanley as a part of the NWA, Austin Aries, and countless other names. So there's some cross-platform there as well.
I think there is a great relationship brewing between CYN and NWA. And as a forebother, the lowercase g God King of CYN, I'm very happy to open that door. Or as we say in Control Your Narrative, all you have to do is knock.
The other day was my birthday. Like last week was my birthday.
Hey!
Well, wait a minute. You don't have to do that. The reason I'm bringing this up is that actually I was talking to my wife and I was like, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't want to think about my birthday. And of all people, something you said came into my mind. I heard you on an interview with Chris Van Vliet, and you were talking about your only birthday is the day that you're born. And then every day after that is a day to better yourself and make a new story and something along those lines.
I am just an esoteric genius.
I agree with that.
And I was like, I'm not going to be so negative now. I was like, actually, I'll be happy that, I'm still here. Every day above ground's a good day. But, it's
okay. Like, all right, you're a day older, big deal. Guess what? You're surrounded by the people you love, a loving wife. She's with you. It is a day to remember the fact that you are born, and another day for you to improve, get better, become who you're supposed to be. That is what we preach at CYN. I'm not building just wrestlers. I'm building people. Yeah, maybe I am a cult leader. So what? But in the same retrospect, each person that walks through CYN, ask a Jamie Stanley, they become a better version of themselves. Now, if I could just take that dude character and rip it to shreds and put it in a rocket launcher and send it to the moon to find out who he truly is, that's a plan I have.
That's interesting because I've seen him show up on the CYN stuff, and I always feel like that dude Jamie. And when you talk to Jamie Stanley and like really dig in with him, there's a really interesting guy there. And
like one thing about wrestling that I think this is the reality of it. One thing about wrestling I think that we're all lacking is the real connection that talents as performers have with the fans and their reality. I swear, what made me start this and pursue it to this, nth degree is that I see talents who are some of the most interesting, people I've ever talked to. When a red light's on in their face or they're handed a white paper with a bunch of words on it, they become somebody else. And that somebody else is just not interesting. Like the reality of who we are far surpasses any sort of quote character or quote gimmick.
I got to be honest with you. I've never spoken to you in person. I was looking forward to you being a part of this and everything. And the more I'm hearing, the bigger fan I get because I agree with you 110%. It's usually
I'm a real good dude. I'm a certified genius. And I'm jacked as hell. So yeah,
jacked as hell, certified genius. I'm gonna not argue one of those things, but I'm learning about the other thing with you. But the truth of the matter is that I find that same thing. I sometimes will connect with somebody on a human level that, as far as what I see on TV, I'm like, But then when I get to know that person, I'm like, well, shit. This connection is the thing that is gonna get you to the moon and back. You should make this connection happen. So I agree with you.
Because we're picking on Jamie here. I'm doing an interview. I can't talk right now. 1 second. Thank you.
Jamie's knocking on the door saying, please don't bury me.
All you have to do is knock. No, not to pick on him, but who I think he can be, what I see out of him is it's bold and it's risky. But when I ask him a question like, what do you want out of this? His answer is, I want to be remembered. I want to be the best I can be. And the best you can be is your best self. So if you're not really yourself, you're never going to be your best.
So let me get your opinion on this. Do you feel like some people use kind of that idiocy at times to disarm people so they don't take them seriously?
Maybe in a sense, that's a good term, idiocy. We all wear masks per se. And what I really try to do with people is pull the mask off them. But with that, you're going to pull off some skin too. So,
I mean, the first time I ever saw you on any programming was with the guy who trained me in the business, Brian Danielson. And I remember you stuck out immediately to me because of your outgoing personality and also the ridiculousness of trying to pay for a date with change in a bag. Pure nonsense, but it clicked with me. And then as you evolved and the real you started shining through, I'm sure that's a facet of who you are, but the more serious antagonist aspect of it really made me go, oh, there's more levels to this guy right here. And now you've made a giant name for yourself. You're a part of this now. And frankly, EC3 is grown and really built even more. As you said, you have your own promotion going on right now. And I just want to tell you, like, what are you thinking you can accomplish in the NWA? Is there a greater goal? Is this just you knocking on the door? And then once you're in, we should be watching for something? Should I be concerned is what I'm telling you?
Yes.
I'm pretty much the Kaiser Soze of wrestling.
Oh boy.
The way too, where like there's always a nefarious plan. So what is happening might not always be what seems to be taking place. And I always have my end goal in mind. And just weird different roads to get there. But with NWA, it's very easy and it's very cliched, especially in wrestling, to talk about I'm invading, I'm gonna take over, we're gonna take NWA for what? Like, no, we're not. That's been done. It's obviously not true. My intent, my purpose, my great purpose is to awaken NWA, to awaken the wrestling industry. And through the platform NWA provides, Nostalgia Wrestling Alliance, it's the platform required to take my vision to the next level.
So actually, this brings up a great question. Here I am saying I have a great question, but no, when, so I have a little say in some of the social media and how we post and that sort of thing. One of the things I notice on social media is when we announce the match between you and Mims, a lot of the comments blew up. This is everywhere. I know you don't care about Twitter, and this is even on Instagram. People saying the narrative has been controlled. Like what you're a self-aware guy, and I know that gets you grief from some people, and some people love it and all of that. So I'm just curious, how do you look at something like that when people see you come to the NWA and they're all of a sudden saying like, well, I guess this narrative's controlled, and whatever comments?
Well, I can, first off, I've never said I'm not a hypocrite. And when I talk about 3-letter brands, I actually became one when I was railing against them. So yeah, I'm a liar. I'm full of shit. Who cares? But the narrative's not controlled per se, because what I really believe with comments and social media and the dopamine hits and the quick responses, oftentimes it's a vocal, minority, to say the least. So like, who's boldly, watching without their finger on the button, commenting, and is silent. And I feel the people that are silent don't want to be silent anymore. And what I'm realizing within wrestling, within this industry, there's more of us than them. So,
well, and I think my response to like most people are like, when I'm with you, I mean, most of the time it's just not even worth acknowledging. But I feel strongly that you're a guy who chooses what he does. So, you don't have to be in the NWA. This is a place you wanted to come to. So I don't feel like this is in any way you're not still controlling your narrative, if that makes any sense.
I will say your president and I are very like-minded. I don't know if you know this, but we're both Pisces and we share the same birthday. So we're both masterminds of creative ingenuity. We also see the landscape of wrestling and how it's changed, and how it's, the microcosm of one sect of fans. We have totally, completely foregone the millions upon millions that watched in years past. So trying to reach out to them and provide them something with context and substance and character and story. I don't know if that answered the question. It sounded cool as hell, but
it did sound cool as hell.
It did. By the way, I want to back up Kyle. You said that, with you. Hey, hey, what's up, baby? Look at Jack. Look at brother.
Oh, look at the cousins meeting. Oh boy.
That's right. Created his own promotion with a gray wall. Do not ever question the work ethic of somebody who comes from the Rust Belt. But Kyle, I was just curious. You said that resonated with you. Is that because you paid for dates with change? Is that why? Because that's kind of
no, it was just the social awkward hilarious of it.
Just weird.
I think I like quirkiness in that. And the fact of the matter is, I wish I had the just the concept that you look at yourself and you realize that I have so much that I can learn, but I have so much I could share with people, and that you have a message that deserves to be heard. I wish I had that confidence. And so when I look at you, I see somebody who's evolving as a human being. And I think that's super important, that everybody evolves as a human being and being multifaceted. So I just want to say, like EC3, I am a fan. And one day I hope that I could get to the level of just consciousness that you seem to be hitting.
It's not an easy journey, and it only starts with the first step. And it seems like if that's something you want and desire, there's nothing holding you back but yourself. And at the same time, comparison is the thief of victory or happiness. I don't know. I'm not a quote book, but both sound good. But don't compare yourself to who I am or what I'm doing. Being the best version of yourself will carry you to what you want to do, where you want to go. And again, reiterate, to become the person you're supposed to be.
So like, real talk, was there a point that you could look at in your journey that basically made you say, I'm going to have to change who I am? There's more to this than just being a character. There's more to this than just being this guy on a television program. What was the thing that created this next level of evolution, that created control your narrative and who you are as a human being today?
It was a couple weeks probably before being fired during a pandemic, knowing that what's going to happen. I'm not being used. I'm coming off a very serious injury. I had like concussion issues. I'm coming back off that. The world's burning around us. Everything's going crazy. You don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, as a business, they're going to do something of that nature. So knowing that it's going to happen.
Don't let them shut you down.
The laws here. There's 87,000 IRS agents coming to get me. Anyways.
Independent contractor. It's happening.
EC3 just got swatted.
knowing that was going to happen, being aware, being self-conscious. And when it did happen, I'm in the middle of doing a session of yoga, get the call, and I was completely at peace and fine because I knew that needed to happen for me to take that next step and evolve. And in a personal matter, was not a good person, not a happy person, not pleased with life, have my supposed dream job, and I'm miserable and depressed and just sad. So realizing the only person that could change that is me within those contexts, getting the call, it was a burden release, really. And then probably the week before I shaved the head, and during the pandemic, I had enough time to grow my first bit of facial hair. So pretty pumped. But it was really the recollection, the realization of what will happen and who is there for you. And at that point, I'll have family. I'll never discredit my family. And I would have friends, but they're hard to turn to when you're in a bad state. I had no great love. I had no great relationships. I had what I loved to do, but I hated how I was doing it and where I was doing it. My one outlet, my one true passion, and I'm unable to, do it to an extent I want to. Whose fault is this? It's mine. Taking accountability, responsibility, and pressing forward. So it hasn't been easy too, because there's been relapses, there's been regressions, there's steps forward, but you do tend to take steps back. I mean,
it's the process. It's the process of putting the work in and just saying, do I want to be better tomorrow than I am today? I think.
Like 2 months ago, off the record, or it could be on, who cares?
We're recording this, so
it's a safe space. It's safe space here.
Safe space to not be safe. I spent 3 days, course of 3 days, writing every personal flaw I think I have and examples of them and how I could be past that or better. Like, I am actually past this. I am past this. I still do this. I do this a lot, and that is not a good thing. So just being cognizant of who you are and who you want to be. Yeah, it's definitely a journey. It's a process, and I don't know if you ever fulfill it too.
We want to be respectful of your time. So again,
I got all the time in the world, man. Let's go.
All right. Well, we'll be here till midnight, everybody.
Because I could do this for hours. I'm all about getting to the heart of who a human being is. This is the shit I love. Is finding out what makes people tick.
And
well, I want to know. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, this is the stuff that I think we lack as an industry because we've been obsessed with demos and ratings and move sets and GIFs and comments and threads and subreddit and control your narrative. And NWA is very close to this too. Is really about who the performer is, what their skill set is, their assets. Control your narrative was built to tell your story. So to be able to tell mine, that was great. What makes it truly fulfilling is being able to facilitate somewhere that people can tell theirs too, free, unimpeded.
Is that what will be a success to you? Obviously, Control Your Narrative is an outlet of who you are and is a vision that you're helping build and spreading that so you can get more people to understand the viewpoints where you're coming from, the emotion and all that. Is there an end game or a goal where you said, this is the moment where I could say, at least I am content with the progress I've made? There's no end game. I know there's no I've done it. This is it. But is there a next step that you're looking to hit that's going to make you say I'm on the right path?
There's definitely a bunch of next steps, but I would say if today it ended, and this was hard for me. Someone had to point this out to me. It wouldn't be a failure because so much has changed for so many different people, whether that resonated in a wrestling product in the wrestling community. Not yet. We haven't reached that yet. But knowing and seeing the people that have, found this idea and this message and have joined me and follow me, like it's truly daunting to have the responsibility of so many people on your back when you really, there's no way this isn't dictated how to do it. Like every day is a different adventure, but to have that faith in so many people and positive changes I've seen in their real lives compared to their career too. If it ended today, it's a success, but by no means is it going to end today. So end game, Endgame, I don't want to say, oh, we're competing with WWE. We're number one, or we're the number two. There are no numbers. Those numbers are meaningless, between an NWA and an Impact and an AEW and WWE. What matters is the end game is to be the kingmaker as opposed to being the king. So I've been the king twice. Maybe I come to NWA and become the king the third time. But at the same time, being able to facilitate and pass that on to a generation that does it the right way, that would be my success.
So you say kingmaker. I take that as being the champion. You're coming to NWA 74, facing big, strong Mims on that. Win, lose, or draw, is there a part of you that's hoping to get more of the roster of the National Wrestling Alliance to see the world in your way?
I would open the invitation to a vast majority of the NWA roster because it's very talented. It's very charismatic. It has a ton of potential. A lot of names we've mentioned, like a Jamie Stanley, rise up. But like a Silas and Kazana, I've recently come into contact with. And the man Silas, in 20 minutes, who I thought he was, and then after a conversation with him, who he really is, blew my mind. And I'm like, how come
Thrill Billy is a unique individual that really latches on emotionally with people and resonates immediately. You're right.
A history buff more than me, and it was crazy. But I'm just like, how do I how do we show the world who you really are? Because this guy is bafflingly unique. So, and then you have your mainstays, you have a Latimer and you have an Aldis, and I have my history of Tyrus, and I don't mind revisiting it because I have things to sell too. So if you can get me on Gutfeld, that's cool. Might cancel more, but whatever.
I wanted to ask you about Tyrus specifically because he was one of the people that popped into the comments on the Instagram. Like when your match was announced, Tyrus was right there, just like, oh, it looks like something's getting controlled now or something. So like, what's the? I don't know. I know. I assume people know that you have a history with Tyrus.
Yeah, we very much do. And as much as EC3 was the champion, EC3 was, the nephew. EC3 was on the posters more often than Tyrus. The reason of my success was because of a guy like Tyrus, not just from being in my corner in Impact as a world champion, my heavy, my bodyguard, but being a friend, being somebody that we came up through, the FCW system together, getting to know each other, sharing, long car rides, all that shit on the road. Like, to see him succeed in the way he has. He beat me to writing a book. I can't believe that shit. That just drives me nuts in a good way.
Are you pulling for him at 74 Night 2 to win with the NWA World Heavyweight Championship just because of that connection?
I wouldn't go ahead and say that I'm playing favorites or pulling for anybody. I think the universe will dictate who decides to win and who should lose. But if you were to succeed, it'd be another feather in the cap of a man who I have great admiration and respect for. But also at the same time, I do know how to kick his ass. I can beat the shit out of him. I can break his legs down. I can punch him in the head a bunch of times. I can probably make him tap out if I get the hold on just right. So, at the same time, I hope he does win because challenging him for a title would be a very interesting thing to do.
We mentioned Impact, TNA, that whole thing, you being the family member of somebody with a Carter name. And one of the biggest names in the National Wrestling Alliance has a huge history in the TNA and Impact era. And that person does not have a match coming up at NWA 74. And I hate to even bring this up, but what are your thoughts on Nick Aldis?
It seems, Nick came to NWA and was really the golden goose of it. He took it over. He was the face of NWA. He
controlled his own narrative. Let's be completely honest.
He definitely controlled his narrative, and he's not afraid to say it too. Another man, like super, super smart, very intelligent, crafty, well-read, on point, not just in wrestling jargon, but like in world affairs. And he can have a conversation. What I respect about a lot of people is the ability to have a conversation outside of what happens between the ropes, and he's definitely one of those. To hear he doesn't have a match at 74, I mean, sometimes too, you do need to evolve. And how long can Nick Aldis go with, the same gripes and the same complaints because of all the growth he's had as a man and a father and a businessman? he regresses constantly to the same, attitude he had in Impact, where, it's not about him. It doesn't matter. And those complaints, nauseating whining, and the slight demented narcissism he has. So maybe that lights a fire on him to try something new. I don't know.
Wow. Are you in touch with the world around you? Trevor Murdoch, current NWA World Heavyweight Champion. If the opportunity presents itself, where do you see yourself? Can you be in the ring with the world title in that picture? Is that a goal? Or is it just if it happens, it happens?
No, it'll happen. I already saw it happen. Manifestation. I did have this sequence, this dream sequence where I am, staring.
Paint the picture for us.
Yeah. Staring at the title, grime, dirt, maybe some blood, definitely sweat all over me. Just, chiseled, demigod looking, nice white trunks, holding that title, realizing I am a 3-time world champion in that moment. But what escaped me was a person laying down behind me. I did not clearly see. And I don't know if it's Trevor, but if it were to be, I would welcome that challenge and that opportunity.
Interesting point.
Magic 8 Ball says outlook good.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I mean, I would love to see that.
He's a tough. I don't know my profanity. He's tough as shit.
I call him Captain Badass. The man is not to be messed with right now.
And another guy too, in theory, controlling his narrative from where he started, where he went, what happened to him, to come back around and to become the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. There's a lot of narratives being controlled through NWA, and I think that's what makes this relationship so great, this opportunity to bring my mindset, talent, skills, and possibly my cult, I might bring them along with me, to an NWA, because I think it's like a Greek a Greek city-state where we're going to have to fight. There is going to be some bloodshed, but we know the true enemies right across the street.
I'm glad you said that, because it actually segues into the other thing I wanted you to, if you could spell out for people a little bit, because this felt like destiny, finally seeing you show up in the National Wrestling Alliance. Just from the beginning, I remember I even got in the spot I am just by starting a thing about the National Wrestling Alliance. And I remember early on, Corgan, when he mentioned people that he could see carrying the torch for the National Wrestling Alliance, people that you would get behind, people that you would build a company around, your name was always mentioned there. And then, of course, you had your own path. But then even at the time that, you mentioned it, the release, there was the moment that people would always ask President Corgan in the interviews, if you could have anybody from the WWE that just, was released, who would you pick? And your name always came up. And so it just felt like a matter of time. And then you started CYN and it felt like, well, okay, he's doing his own thing, but I'm happy to see you. And it feels like it was meant to be, but can you explain a little bit for people, what that relationship is like with you guys, that he talks about you so much?
It had to be now. It really did have to be this moment and this opportunity. And to harken back to our history, just with him coming into Impact and growing a bond, early. And like I said, same birthday, Pisces, true story. When I became the Impact World Heavyweight Champion, there was a nice little soiree with the office that I was invited to. And I'm, fresh off a title win, the moment of my life. I beat Kurt Angle for the world title. I hugged my mom and my dad and my ex, whatever. But a moment that I go to the back and cut one of this promo that was so scathing and from the heart. And it was just, before I had the feelings of, oh no, what's next? I had that night. And that night at the soiree, there's William with a guitar. And he looks at me and goes, "Hey, champ, what do you want to hear?" I was like, "Cherub Rock."
Yes.
So
yes.
That, to have a hero from a different genre to come into this world with the same mindset and the same passion to, dude, I got an acoustic guitar session from Billy Corgan. That's cool. You know, and we've been close because we share like minds and we're not afraid to, you know, state each other's opinions, but we always know that the best course of action is what's best for the business. It's not just the business of NWA. It's not just the business of CYN. It's the business of wrestling. It's the business of bringing back heart, passion, soul, moments, emotion to go along with, you know, satire and fun and humor and, you know, poo-poo pee-pee jokes sometimes. But like, we're very much in line of where we see wrestling going, where it's going and where we want it to go. So, yeah, it's a Pisces connection.
We drank a lot of alcohol that night, EC3. Hey, yeah. Will, you got any?
That red wine flowed like the Rhine, baby.
Will, you got any questions?
I was going to say, we've taken up a lot of time, so if Will or the chat has any questions, EC3's got a life, and I want to make sure we don't take up his life, because I still want to be on his good side when he sees me in St. Louis. If you want to
get rid of me, you can get rid of me, but I have a few more minutes.
I don't want to.
Well, we also have to run down the NWA 74 card at some point, which is
that's Gary trying to get rid of you.
No, it's not. I think I firmly established how excited I am to have EC3 on this live stream right now.
Will, good thing that they're shooting from the waist up there, because otherwise they'd know. Will, what do you got?
Well, I mean, you know, as everybody, that's nice.
Buy the merch.
Everybody could probably see this coming, but another figure who's been controversial in the NWA is Matt Cardona. What's your relationship with him? If he comes back and guns for that title, could he potentially be the guy that you saw laying behind you?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I've beaten him before, so that's not a problem. No, but like Cardona, a master of reinvention, and you know, when we left WWE, we're both very, I don't know, powerful as individuals and what we see happening. And he went his route and I went mine. And we're very much yin and yang, like very like-minded, not afraid to, you know, create and explore and be different, you know, but at the same time, we do it in different ways. And I was very fortunate when I initially launched Control Your Narrative and the Free the Narrative sort of, you know, feature franchise kind of thing we did. That was, you know, just something to do during a pandemic because you can't sit around. Let's create some art, you know, that Cardona. And you can watch this now on Pro Wrestling TV. We have the third one coming out at the end of the month. But Cardona being a part of that and just having the opportunity to try telling a story. What happens if two of the boys, two people that are individual creators, get together unimpeded and cohesively tell a story that makes sense? And it's almost why sometimes I get, you know, such a hatred sent to me, because I think it's based on the fact that we can prove that we don't necessarily always need the middlemen that have been kind of murky and muddying the waters of this industry with their hands out, grubbing for money and, you know, destroying other people's potentials and opportunities for their own vendettas. Like NWA sees that pretty clearly. I definitely see it. You know, the middlemen are kind of the crux of the industry. So Cardona, when he comes back, put his bicep back together, yeah, I can definitely see myself in the ring with him, standing over him, bloody and beaten. Sure.
You have to name one talent right now in the National Wrestling Alliance that you're hoping to cross paths with. Who is it?
Tom Latimer.
Tom Latimer. Ooh.
I love it.
You want to know why?
I would love to know why.
I don't know if I should throw the money promo on you guys yet. I can say it's pretty simple as this. The wealth of potential, like you look at Tom Latimer and you compare it to an NFL thing, that guy's a first-round draft pick, 6'4", you know, chiseled, jacked, talented, athletic, well-spoken, an energy that you only get when you have a certain amount of charisma. Like he has this unique energy about him. And what he suffered and went through, a lot of it self-imposed, to come out on the other end, you know, happy and successful. Like he's another man in NWA who controlled his narrative, but I still think the shadow exists within him. And for him to truly reach his ascension, I think I need to bring it out of him one more time to see how dark he can get. Ooh, that was good.
I know. I want to see that.
Let's go the opposite direction. We mentioned Jamie Stanley. Who on the roster that you've seen do you think has the most potential to learn under your wing?
Oh, short of a Silas or Jamie Stanley.
Maybe the big strong Mims. maybe 74 is the start.
I'm so out of touch with the modern product. I am scouting big strong, Mims at this moment, and he's big and strong. I have to get a judge of their character because everyone we mentioned I've had experiences with. So, and it's more than just, fighting them in a ring or shaking their hand. Hey, brother, how are you? Like,
basically, I need to keep an eye on you when we're in St. Louis in the locker room to see who you're pacing around, who you're looking, what you're listening to, and what the eyes are on. If I want the answer,
I would say so. Yeah, if you want to get the stewed report and catch up with the camera.
Yeah. That's him.
That's how I got my job.
Stewed report guy.
What how I'm going to, judge. I only have so much time and myself to give, and I'm very willing to give it. But it comes with caveats, and I have to see who. Kerry Morton, probably, I don't want to think of the most, but
that makes sense.
I saw Kerry Morton one night at a party afterwards, and I got to tell you that I saw a side of him I was not expecting. He had some fire in him that I've seen before with that babyface fire, but also he had some things he was saying to me that in confidence I felt like, oh, there's another level of this kid right here. And when everyone finally sees that level, watch out.
Well, the thing that EC3, is constantly preaching, like you could totally see that coming out in Kerry Morton because there's a side of him you could tell, like when I don't know if it's what we were drinking. I think I know the night you're talking about, but there's like a side of Kerry Morton that has the confidence that's like built into him, and he's like, there's a dark side to Kerry Morton too that like people don't see.
He's got a Colby Carino just waiting to come to the surface, and I'm a little concerned about that.
Colby is another one.
It's not right. The kid's been doing it since he was 2. He's got such natural charisma and the legacy too. It's not fair.
Yeah, I was like 2 years in on an Indian before the show. Colby Carino. I don't remember who he's wrestling when he's a child. I'm like, this dude's better than 80% of the people. But CYN just did a show with AML in North Carolina, and it's the first time I've seen Colby in a long time. I was super impressed. And, he fought his demons openly, honestly, accountable for him and who he's become, too. Like, he still has such a long way to go, but he's on the right path. So. Plus, I have an idea for him. Guess what? Okay, I'll tell you. I'm going to make sure that Colby Carino, his finishing hold is a headlock. Watch him there. I'm going to make that happen.
That's exciting.
What a throwback classic, and just enough to piss people off.
Well, it wouldn't be
I know how to do it without pissing people off. You can still give them all the bells, whistles. We're just going to come right back to that. And headlocks suck. They hurt, man.
They do. Especially if you get right that orbital bone when you're grinding that anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
all right. Any other questions from anybody on here? Because we got to run down this list of stuff because, frankly, I love the fact that you were able to join us. Again, NWA 74, yourself versus Mims. Could steal the entire show. I don't know what's going to happen beside that point. I'm hoping that you continue to be a part of the National Wrestling Alliance, win, lose, or draw in that match. We have the TV tapings coming up right afterwards. Hope that you're a part of that. Do we have confirmation? Are you going to be a part of the television tapings?
Gotta go, guys.
Oh man. All right. Well, thank you, EC3. It was an honor, sir. Thank you for being
Leave
here.
them wanting more. That's right.
Hey, that's why I tell guys that ladies. All right. Superior man. Hey, guys.
Be safe. Thank you for your time.
All right. Well, there's EC3, and we got to run down the 74 card, and I'm on call for my other job, so I got to take a call real quick, too. So I'm going to play this all-access commercial, because if you can't be there live in St. Louis, the only way you're going to be able to watch NWA 74 is with NWA All Access on Fight TV. You gotta join up with that. I mean, you can buy the pay-per-view.
1 year. Didn't get it all, but you'll probably hear me say that right now in other coverage.
Yeah. Right. And when we come back, it's more about NWA 74 and whatever these guys want to talk about.
The National Wrestling Alliance and Fight brings you the ultimate streaming service for everything NWA. This is NWA All Access. For just $49.99 a year, you'll get every single NWA pay-per-view, NWA Power days before the rest of the world, NWA USA, and special Fight exclusive content. all the pay-per-views, all the action, all the power for only $49.99 a year. That's a savings of over $100 versus just ordering everything alone. To subscribe, visit FITE.tv today. That's FITE.tv. Join the thousands of fans that have already subscribed to the toughest brand of professional wrestling. The NWA, wrestling as it's meant to be.
That's a long pause.
Boom.
There it is.
You know, I'm seeing in the chat right here, people are talking about, I don't want to see company A versus company B. And that brings up a great point. You know, the thing that I really loved about EC3 bringing that up is it was nothing about like, I want to come in, I want to take over, anything like that. There's enough of the pie to go around for everybody. And there's no reason why people can't work together. Coming up at NWA 74, EC3 is going to be there, as well as MLW champion Davey Richards is going to be a part of the company as well. So, I mean, the more the merrier. It's inclusive. I want to make sure that there's people from all over the wrestling the world here that could be a part of the National Wrestling Alliance. The more the merrier. Right now, we had Gary step away for a minute, and usually he's the one that drops the graphics in here. So running down the card is going to be in one moment. Oh, you got it right there. NWA 74, August 27th and 28th is going to be coming to you live from the Chase in St. Louis. Tickets are at nwatix.com, and that is 2 days of packed wrestling and a fan fest as well. Each day at 2 p.m., we're going to be having the opportunity for you to meet all the champions and several wrestling legends. We're splitting this up over 2 days, folks. So just go to nwatix.com and you can see all, or go to National Wrestling Alliance.com, and that's going to have more information on there. FanFest, I'm willing to bet next graphic's probably going to be somebody like
FanFest.
I thought you were going to go fast. Either way, we've got Baby Doll on there. We've got
Tyrus.
JJ Dillon. No, I was just going to run down some of the names on there.
The FanFest. No, I got you.
There we go. Boom. Baby Doll on night one, as well as Barry Windham. Barry Windham is actually going to be on night two. That's the old graphic. Night two is going to be Barry Windham and JJ Dillon, whereas night one is Baby Doll. You got the other graphic?
That's all I got.
Oh,
hang on, maybe down
graphics.
Here.
That's fine. I thought you were going to have all the graphics on there because the other
like
person appearing on night one is going to be Wildfire Tommy Rich, former NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. There's a graphic on there somewhere online, but that's beside the point. Hey guys, this is not rehearsed. This is real time. Things happen. That's the great part about it.
That's the live stream. That's
fun
what we
fact,
do.
I did a show once where Tommy Rich cut a promo over a cell phone. The guy just put it up to a microphone.
I love that. That's doing the best that you can with what you have. Also, the graphic went up there that we're going to be having a Tyrus autograph session for his brand new book. If you don't have a copy yet, you can get one there and get it signed by Tyrus the Day himself. His biography, Just Tyrus and Memoir. It's one of the best selling on there. Also, the fact of the matter, you got one right there. Is it signed by?
It is.
Boom! Look at that.
To Will
Tyrus,
with two
of
L's.
course,
So I don't know who this is for. But.
Night two of NWA 74. You can see the cup right down there with Danny Dealz is going to be going for the 10 pounds of gold against his quote unquote cousin, Trevor Murdoch, Captain Badass himself. And everybody's been talking about it. Obviously, that match being promoted all over social media on actual cable news networks that gets millions of viewers. Got to be honest with you, when I'm at the gym and I look up and I see graphics like that pop up on the channel that is not usually the channel I'd be watching, I always get a little bit like, holy shit, this is life. But also, hey, NWA, look at that. And then I try to tell everybody at the gym who I am because I just want somebody to care.
You're like, hey, I know those guys. And they're all just like,
okay, yeah.
Sure.
Like, who cares, bald guy? And I'm like, oh, it hurts. We got some more match graphics to go up there, so I can just
man. Let's run down them. I'll run down, and you can
you show them, and I'll do some talking.
You can lay them out for us. Let's start with night one.
Night one is a great night to start with because it is the first night. We're going to be having the pre-show, which is going to be free for everybody on there. It's going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube. Catch it, watch the matches. You never know what's going to happen or who's going to be a part of it. For example, the Country Gentlemen with Joe Casana. Speaking of cousins, these men, I'm being told, are country cousins, are going to be facing the team of Gold Rush. Marche Rocket making his return to the National Wrestling Alliance after taking
Team JT right there.
Team JT. What's JT stand for?
Don't worry about it. You're not allowed to say.
Ooh, I'm not cool enough to know that. And the Golden Boy, Jordan Clearwater. We also got Luke Hawks versus VSK. Luke Hawks has been on a tear. One half of Hawks R. Also,
Luke's always screaming.
He's
screaming.
He's the Southern Stomper, and is a little angry for being a Southern guy. Also, being on the Young Rock there as young Steve Austin. I mean, how cool is that? And VSK, speaking of how cool is that? Perfect beard. Always jealous when I see
a nice
that
beard.
thing.
Oh, yeah.
I will say,
Vincenzo was always spread.
Especially for a pre-show match, I'm pretty hyped about this one. I mean, these two guys in a singles grudge match. That's just good wrestling for free on YouTube on August 27th. Can't beat that.
I mean, if somebody's putting on here, Luke's is going to win. I mean, I don't know about that. Luke Hawx, obviously experience and all the charisma there. I remember when I found out that Luke was actually Altar Boy Luke back in the day in CCW. I was like, wait, same guy? I felt like an idiot.
Now you see what VSK is doing with his fingers there? That's the deadly eye poke. So if he gets
the deadly eye poke.
So,
well, the fact of the matter is VSK being a part of the Cardona family, he's learned some of the ins and outs and the tricks on how to win matches, maybe in the not the most clean way. So really anything can happen on this, and sky's the limit for both of these gentlemen.
I bet you I know who Will's pulling for there.
Yeah, Cardona family all the way. Keep it rolling, Kyle.
It's all right on there. I mean, who's going to get the tables? Who's to say? Mike Knox put Bully Ray through a table shortly after Always Ready. This match is personal and goes back to the history between both these men. Mike Knox claims that he was mistreated by Bully Ray. Bully Ray admits, I might not have been the best person before, but hey, he tried to apologize. Then he got put through the table. Who's going to get walking away with this one? Maybe neither man will walk away. Well, whoever is going to be the winner is the first one to put someone through a table. Bully Ray versus Mike Knox, NWA 74, night one.
Well, then let's talk about the real. Yeah, we can hear you. Let's talk about the real main event. The real main event of night one is right here.
I mean, that's subject. I've seen a lineup, and I can tell you, I'm not quite sure if this is going to be the actual last match. But emotionally, if this is the main event for you, that's great. I always love it when somebody has an emotional relation.
I like it when you validate my emotions. That's very
I validate it because let's face it, there's a little bit of something in everything in wrestling for somebody. This might not be your jam. Somebody might not love the fact that Tyrus is going to be going on there. But as long as you find the thing that gets you going, hell, that's an emotional connection that few people could get. And Cardona is your emotional connection. He's coming back from the bicep injury that cost him the 10 pounds of gold. Who will his hand-picked opponent be? There's two ways of looking at this.
That's the question.
Is he going to pick somebody who's going to challenge him to get him back in the ring in the way where he could show that he's a challenger and deserves to be champion again? Or is he going to take the coward's way out and pick somebody who nobody should ever pick?
That silhouette
I just got here. I just heard Kyle talking about something about there's a lot of different things for a lot of different people as long as you pick something that gets you go. Is he talking about Pornhub again? Because Kyle just goes on these rants.
It's really weird that siblings is such a popular search on there. I don't get human beings, but that's okay.
Oh my God. This is why we're on NWA Extra channel.
If Joe Galli was on right now, I could guarantee you this would get a lot more obscene.
I'm telling you, that silhouette looks like Joe Galli. I think that's where he went.
I can see that.
So here's the other thing that nobody's really brought up. I see Cardona challenges Trevor at the Chase. I don't know the limits of this. What was the agreement that William Patrick Corgan, NWA president, made with him? We keep on hearing from the other members of the Cardona family that they were all going to get something for him relinquishing the title and not putting up a fight at Always Ready. Is he in the position where he can literally pick the world champion? I don't know. Only two people know this. William Patrick Corgan and also Matt Cardona. So whichever one of these guys decides to pull the trigger on whatever deal they have going on could change everything at 74. But who's to say? Speculation.
The thing is with Cardona, and listen, and if you heard the interview we just released, and Will and I have been talking about, we're going to release it on NWA Extra as well for you guys who haven't seen it. So keep your eyes out for that. I think probably tomorrow I'll try to make sure it's on there. But an interview with Matt Cardona, and the feedback we've gotten so far is a lot of people coming in with, damn you guys, I like Matt Cardona now.
See?
He sounds smart. He sounds like a good
Will's
dude.
been trying to tell you.
God, hello.
He's controlled his narrative and won you over.
Yeah, and but the thing I will say about him is he seems like a guy who knows exactly how to best maximize his opportunities. Obviously, I mean that's Matt Cardona.
We're gonna fault a guy for that.
No.
I know you're not saying. I know you're not saying that, but that's like the general consensus is like.
Thank you, Pam, for saying the Cardona interview is fantastic. But
I saw.
No, my point was going to be: is NWA 74 just walking in? Is that really the time that you want to go ahead and challenge somebody like Trevor Murdoch for the world's heavyweight title?
Sure, why not?
Well, because you don't know. I
People
mean,
gonna
he's
see it.
coming back from a bicep injury that we know has taken some people 6 to 10 months to
we'll never
heal
know the
from,
extent
and,
because the man's wife has basically been and had a broken wrist off and on for the last 2 years. And what extent, like, this family is known for blurring the lines. Who's to say what is and isn't real? I mean, obviously
She was legitimately
injured, but I don't know
Kyle.
the extent of it.
What are you trying to say?
I'm just all I'm
He had a
saying
broken wrist.
is Trevor Murdoch's a scary man. He was already a scary man coming into this latest season of NWA, walking into Always Ready, winning back the World's Heavyweight Championship. He seems unbeatable right now. And I assume, well, Matt Cardona's opponent, he gets to pick on night 1. And you really want to mess with the Trevor Murdoch who's had his whole weekend screwed around by here's Nick Aldis. Never mind. No Nick Aldis.
Maybe
now you
he's
got
not
Tyrus.
thinking
Now you
clearly. Because let's face it, if there's one person in this locker room that Trevor Murdoch, if I was him, would have a real problem with being across the ring from me right now, it'd be Matt Cardona. The man cost him the world title. The man had his team jump him on countless occasions. Mike Knox at his behest attacked Trevor Murdoch's son. Like, if Cardona should stay as far away as possible from Trevor Murdoch right now, because this Trevor is not the one you want to mess with. So,
yeah,
Matt Cardona, if you're smart,
I think you
don't
lay
pick Trevor
back.
Murdoch.
You watch Tyrus and Trevor Murdoch completely destroy each other, and you know they're gonna. And then maybe you try to pick up the pieces after that if you've got an opportunity in the back. I have to assume that maybe Billy Corgan gave Matt Cardona the option that he gets a rematch when he's ready.
Well, he never lost the
yeah,
scratch.
he never
You know
lost,
what?
of course.
We should try to get Cardona on here next week and see if we can get him to tell us who the opponent is.
That would be great. Go ahead and text it, Will. See if you can do that. But no, I would love to talk to Matt Cardona. He carries a lot of influence and
See, Will, you shouldn't have wasted
intrigue.
your one wish on an 8x10 of him that was signed, because now he's going to be like, I already gave you an 8x10. Now am I going to be your show? Come on.
I love that we had so many viewers like during the EC3 thing. So much that guy gets so much hate online, but it's like where he shows up, it's the same thing I see for Tyrus, honestly. It's like, but when they're there, holy crap, people turn out to see what they're going to say and what they're about. It's interesting. You know, for all the trash people love to talk, it's just always funny to me that it's like, oh yeah, but they're also the most intriguing people in the sport. So it's
you can't. I mean, listen, it's the same thing with Matt Cardona. You can't be a lot of times at the top of any mountain without one side of the mountain just completely trashing you. It just does. You don't see that. I mean, even you talk about Nick Aldis. Yeah, to half the people, he's the king of the NWA. To the other half, he's ruined the NWA. Cardona, same issue. Trevor, there's people that love him as champion, people that hate him as champion. So you don't get in that position without a pretty good smattering of critics and fans. So,
except for me, everybody loves me.
Yeah. Well, you're an anomaly.
But you know, EC3 will always be over with me because the night he won the TNA title, he paid for all the booze. That's what the champ does. There you go.
Well, maybe he can do that again. If he does that again at 74, we can.
Yeah, that's what I'm. You know. Yeah.
Well, and Nathan in the chat saying Tyrus is weird for me. Like, I respect the hell out of the guy, but I don't think he and I would get along after a certain point. Listen, I've met Tyrus in the back. We've hung out a couple of times. I don't agree with everything that Tyrus has ever said, but that's kind of it for me. Like, you don't have to. So it's you know. But
you don't agree with everything I've ever said either, and
I literally hate most of what Will says. So it really works out. But we're still the best of friends.
Best.
Kyle, you're muted. I know that you seem like you are having the most epic of promos right now, but nobody can hear it.
He's just trying to fix his mic.
You're still muted.
He doesn't have his headphones on, so he doesn't even know he's muted.
Do we got drunk Kyle back? Because drunk Kyle.
It feels like we might. It feels like we might. I don't know what he's doing. He doesn't even seem like he's making an effort to be. Oh, I think he's on the phone. I think he's actually on the phone. Yeah, he's on the phone. All right. I was like, we couldn't see the phone.
I just saw the headphones off, and I just imagined
he looked like he was
going
having the best time by himself.
Yeah.
Who needs you guys? I'm just gonna be on camera. Look at brother.
Let's keep rolling, Gary. You're back, Gary. You can go.
Oh, by the way, Pope, if you're watching, I'll answer you when I get off here.
He's not. No.
Well, he asked me a question. I just wasn't able to answer.
He was like, "Why is Gary such an idiot every time he talks?" No, I love that in every pay-per-view, the committee in the National Wrestling Alliance, the matchmaking committee, the booking committee, whatever you want to call them, they always end up putting one match on there that I didn't see coming and that I didn't know I wanted, but I'm glad I got. And this is right now.
Listen, Gary, every time that's happened, it's usually involved these two guys. Have you noticed that? And now we're getting them one-on-one.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah. So there you are. Pope and Rodney Mack going one-on-one. These two are two of the best, I would say, brawlers in the National Wrestling Alliance.
Well, Pope is undefeated 99 boxing matches.
I was going to say, Pope's got that boxing background there, a legit tough man. Rodney Mack, I don't know if you could tell by looking at him, legit tough man. So this match is going to be a battle. And that's right, I'm back on here. I am a little confused still about the Aaron Stevens relationship. That connection there, I mean, the guy tells us he's leaving. He's still around. Is he playing games with the NWA audience? Is he playing games with Mae Valentine's heartstrings? Is he playing games with Rodney Mack? What's the end game? I don't know, but night one, hopefully we'll see something happen.
This is what I think about this match, though. I think that Pope has to win this match. I feel like this is a must-win scenario for Pope because he's had some situations here recently where he's taken the L to Cardona in the title match. He's recently been up against Trevor Murdoch. He's had a tough road against literally the toughest opponents in the National Wrestling Alliance. But Pope needs a good, solid win, and against a tough, everyone respects him. Rodney Mack, a victory over him would mean a lot for Pope right now to get him back on the right track, moving himself back into title contention, wherever he sees that at, I think. Now, Rodney Mack, this Aaron Stevens connection, to Kyle's point, sometimes it doesn't even seem like victory is the main goal for them. It's just dominating someone and proving that they're tougher, and they just kind of leave people laying. And so I don't even know that they've necessarily, won every match. They just beat the hell out of someone.
Fair point.
No comment.
Listen, I'll take the other side of that and just say that, I think this would be a statement win for Rodney Mack and Aaron Stevens, and this alliance that they have is that, they've been on a tear, and Rodney Mack has come into the NWA and I mean, he's been established for a long time, but he's really making his presence felt. And I think a win over Pope really does elevate him, to a place that he hasn't been before. I mean, he went up against Tyrus at Crockett Cup. That was a huge match. So we all saw what he had there, but I think him going in and getting a win over Pope would really go a long way to elevate him in the conversation of the NWA. So I think, in that regard, I think it might be a must win for Rodney Mack.
I see the people in the chat like Media and Axel, and I empathize with you, what you're saying, this match is out of nowhere, or this match, I don't see why this match is happening, et cetera, et cetera. It's kind of random. Axel mentions Mercury and Dumas. We're going to talk about, I'm sure. But for me, if this is a legitimate prize-fighting professional wrestling atmosphere, everybody doesn't have history. Look at the UFC. It's not like everybody has some kind of arch rivalry with the person they're going in. You fight to prove you're the best. You fight to move up the rankings, to show why you're in spot 4 when the other person's in spot 8. You're positioning to move yourself up, to get yourself into contention, to take on someone for a championship or whatever. Of course, along the way, you meet your arch nemesis or somebody you have a personal conflict with, but it's not always that way. But so for me, Pope and Mack, I would say they, we don't have an official rankings to look at right here, but I would say they've got to be kind of close right now in the heavyweight rankings. And so these two need to meet, and they need to establish who is ahead of the other as far as those go. That's the way I look at it. These guys feel evenly matched right now, and I want to see who would win that matchup.
Yeah, agreed.
I don't know why everybody on the roster decided now's the time to start texting.
Yeah, it's live stream time, guys.
I'm so sorry.
EC3 versus Mims. We already talked about this one, but
Yeah, I would love to get EC3's thoughts on. No, we already
here's
did
the
that.
thing. Mims is coming back from an injury too, so who's to say what kind of attitude Mims is going to have going into that?
Tyrus put him in a wheelchair.
Talk about out of the frying pan into the fire. Yeah, look at that. Mims like getting pummeled by Tyrus, and Mims put up a great fight, but suffered that injury. Yeah, and then your next opponent is EC3. That's. Ugh.
But then that next graphic coming up there, NWA World Women's Championship match. La Huela Loca, Taya Valkyrie, taking on the one-time champion over 1 year, the Brickhouse Camille. This match could change the entire landscape of the National Wrestling Alliance. She has been on a roll, and she could mean either one of these women, but I'm talking about Camille right now. Camille has been unstoppable, unbeatable, undefeatable, but Taya is on a roll. This could be the opportunity where she steps in, and all that attrition of defending that championship for over a year could finally catch up to Camille.
Kyle throwing in words like attrition. Welcome back, Joe Galli.
I always loved attrition. There was an old, I think it was like a random 90s WWF match, and I don't know if it was, remember, it was the War of Attrition, or somebody said attrition in there.
100% remember this. Yes,
and I was like, yes, I need to know what that is.
On our old show.
It's just like every now and then I'd listen to a rap song back in the day, and Jay-Z would throw out a word, and I'd be like, need to Google that. Got to put that in my lexicon.
It's just like you always remember Gorilla Monsoon saying the irresistible force meaning the immovable object. I always love that. My first memory of that is the Warlord versus British Bulldog match from WrestleMania 7. I remember them doing that. They had the Master Lock Challenge. It wasn't.
By the way, is
called
it cool to anybody else that we get to work with Davey Boy Smith's son? I mean, that's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
They should be deported.
And we're actually going to get him shortly because he's got a match at NWA 74 as well.
What?
Yeah.
Is that a segue?
How did that happen? There he is, the World Wrestling. Here we go.
Federation.
I subconsciously put that in your brain. I'm so sorry. The NWA World Tag Team Championship will be on the line. La Rebellion, former champions who have actually not been able to come out on top on the Commonwealth Connection. It's almost as if the Commonwealth Connection has their card and is not going to give it back to them. But La Rebellion now also in their cornea. That's
in their eye? In their physical eyeball?
Well, I got to be honest with you. I was thinking about this because Damien 666 is going to be there, and he's always getting missed in people's corneas. So who knows what's going to happen in this?
Nice
I was just thinking about getting missed in the eye. That's all I could think of.
The cornea, yes.
The cornea.
That's what that one time I was trying to read the quotes, and Joe was like, "Push through it." That's what he was talking about. You keep pushing until you make it make sense.
I think the werewolves are taking that one.
Yeah, I think Mickey James told me that one time too. She's like, sometimes you just keep talking until it all comes together, and then it just, good to hear. I don't know, Commonwealth Connection has had La Rebellion's number every single time they've been in a match with each other, and maybe Damien's the key. Maybe this dirtier side of La Rebellion and the Mist. Maybe that's what they need.
By the way, I don't know if you've ever hung out with them, but the dirtier side of La Rebellion, if they get any dirtier, I'm going to have to get a shot.
Yeah, that's true.
Rabies.
The werewolf.
The werewolf.
Rabies.
It's a rabies shot.
Sure. Tetanus. Joe Galli's here. The brightest I've ever seen Joe Galli.
Did you just wave at us, Joe? Like very timid.
Hey, everybody.
Oh, hey, Joe.
Hey, everybody. I'm Joe
Galli. Take our dog for a walk.
He's like, F talking. I'm just going to wave.
I thought he was... Hi, I'm Joe.
Hi.
We've hit the 8 o'clock limit for him, so he's just shut down.
This is where Joe Galli gets fed up with us.
Y'all are ridiculous. You know it.
Oh, man.
Let's run down the rest of this card.
All right.
NWA National Heavyweight Championship. Look at this. The Masked Scion with his
creepy
dad,
smile.
Austin Idol. I still don't know if I believe this or not. Just the fact of Austin Idol being my father is something that would keep me up at night. Maybe that's why Scion looks so crazy, deranged, malicious in this photo. But he's going to be going for the national title with the Dane event, Jax Dane. And Chris Silvio Esquire, I'm actually shocked as the counsel for Jax is letting this match happen. It always feels like he's finding a way to legally weasel Jax out of these things. So looks like it's finally time to happen here. Who's going to win? I don't know. I don't. Scion has been on a angry streak. He's got the mind of Austin Idol behind him. Can the evilness and the manipulation of Austin Idol overcome the legality of Chris Silvio? Two sides of the same coin, if you ask me.
That is an interesting comparison.
You focus on that, but I mean, Scion, if you've been paying attention, he's been talking about this national title for a long time. Even like, I feel like before he, learned who his dad was. And so, I mean, this is something he's had his eye on. And if Scion, he can hyper focus on something. And so this could
especially now that it's part of his destiny. Like it's like his dad was the first.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, I mean, this might be, so we've seen Scion dominate in matches, but this might be a amped up version of Scion with his opportunity.
I don't know. Nepotism.
Do you guys ever have those dreams where like you're like fighting someone and then you're like punching them, but it feels like you have like no strength behind your punch? Has that ever happened to anybody else?
I have the most monotonous, normal, everyday life dreams where it's just like living normal life, and I'm not punching people in normal life. Yeah, it's stuff like that.
That is weird.
My excitement is I'll be like, if I'm on a roller coaster, the physics of that roller coaster match the physics of reality. I'm not finding myself in any outlandish things. I'm not a crazy dreamer, and I wish I was.
All right.
Listen, hey,
forget I said anything about the dreams. My point was going to be,
Gary, I just want to tell you that
I'm trying to keep us on track.
If your dream is punching somebody repeatedly and yet you don't have the strength to make it effective, that makes me think that in real life, you have some real frustrations that you're trying to take out and you feel as if you're incapable of controlling that destiny. I've got a guy for you I want to talk to. His name's EC3. I think he's going to help you out. He's going to help you control that narrative.
All right, Kyle's therapist now. Well, speaking of Pete punching somebody in the face.
Wait, hold on. My point that I'm trying to make, is that
get it in, Daddy.
Have only been so many people in my life where I've had that dream thing where I feel like if you punch them, maybe it's just a non-tough guy worry that you have, but Scott Norton and like Scott Steiner and now a non-Scott, Jack Stade, are the only people I've ever seen in my life where I feel like I could punch them as hard as I can in the chest and it would just like, they would not know that I did. Like they are so big and badass that you're just like, you can't hurt them. And I feel that way about Jack Stade. And so I guess that's what I'm trying to get at.
Scion still looks
mad
like
and
human
angry
fly
and driven.
Am I the only one who thinks Scion looks like the Human Fly? Do you guys remember the Human Fly as a comic book in the 70s?
The Human Fly, know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's what he looks like.
Anyway, I'm just saying, I don't care how driven he is. Jack Stade's tough, and I don't see him losing the title. All right.
Oh, you're going to put Homicide on the show finally. Oh, okay.
I can't roll my butt.
You guys have no idea how much behind the scenes this live stream spilled over that like Homicide, like we're like, Homicide needs to be on the poster. Put Homicide on the poster.
Now, why you gonna put me on the poster? I'll come up and find you.
He's here.
Hey, I want to carry more. I'm going to make sure they carry more. And man, I'm going to make them bleed.
I think old young Terrence might be in trouble here because Homicide's crazy. That's my expert opinion.
Is Kerry finally the guy? Joe, is Kerry finally the guy that's going to beat Homicide for the Junior
He's on an amazing trajectory. We've seen that time and time again with his feud that we've seen with Colby Carino. And if you're looking at a person, we talk about people with all these different managers with Austin Idol and CJ and all these different corner people in seconds, but it doesn't get better than having Ricky Morton in your corner. And if there is a flaw in Homicide's game, I think Ricky Morton is going to be able to see it and tell his son about it. So it might make him like really the best competitor that we've seen for Homicide so far.
All right.
I don't know.
I like that. John Gunn, I am 100% not implying that.
I don't know.
That's what we're going to tweet Jack right now. Gary says he can whip your ass.
He might be texting
tell
Kyle
Jack
right now.
said that.
Gary's going to pop the hatch on his Prius.
That's right.
Pop the hatch.
Oh, God.
It's electric. Boogie, woogie, woogie.
Well, speaking of that.
Oh!
It's an interesting segue. I don't know how it works.
To run down. The Burke Invitational.
Listen, I'm new at this, guys.
Invitational is electric.
Speaking of a Prius, how about this trophy?
Let's not bring up the trophy. The winner of the Burke Invitational will receive an NWA World Women's Championship title shot on night 2, which means they have the opportunity to either take on whoever it is going to be, Camille or Taya. All I know is that is going to be in the favor of the winner of the Burke Invitational, because I can almost promise that both of those women will beat the living hell out of each other to the point where this could actually be easy picking opportunity. Could we see the title change hands 2 nights in a row? Who's to say?
Kyle, that depends
Burke
on
Invitational.
who wins. And Kyle, who's in the Invitational?
Who's in the Invitational? Well, first off, Samantha Starr, Baby Doll, is going to be part of the Fan Fest, and part of that is her daughter, a third-generation superstar, coming in. She is going to be in the Battle Royal, the Burke Invitational.
I saw Samantha Starr, by the way, at the Gathering in Charlotte just over a week ago. She was in the crowd watching. She came out just for the Camille match with Rachel Ellering, and Camille successfully defended the NWA World's title. But she was there. She was watching. She was scouting Camille. So I think she's thinking she's moving through this Burke Invitational and on to someone like Camille. But we'll see, because Kylan King is there. My God, who could beat Kylan King?
The Majesty of Muscle? That Kylan King?
Scouted. She's already scouted and been in the ring with Camille. So
legit, I'm hearing a rumor from backstage. I'm hearing some rumblings that Kylan King is actually going around and saying she wants to be the first person in the Burke Invitational because she wants to prove her mettle and show that she can go all the way. I don't know if that's true or not. We're going to find out August 27th, night 1. Tootie Lynn, St. Louis local, Team Ambition, the Little Blue Dragon. She hasn't been seen in NWA programming for quite some time, but she's making a comeback. She heard, guess what? 74 taking place in her own backyard. She wanted to be a part of that Burke Invitational.
Well, I mean, look, she went all the way to the end of the last year at NWA 73. I mean, her and Chelsea Green took it to the limit there at the very end. And
she's not getting Chelsea.
Well, Tootie Lynn's back. St. Louis, represent.
Who is that? Missa Kate. That's right, Missa Kate. This is her opportunity to shine. There's a number of women in here that we've seen on our NWA programs who have not always been on the winning edge, but all it's going to take is one night, one opportunity to change their fortune. This
you
could
gotta
be
say
Missa
that about
Kate's
Sporty
opportunity.
Spice. I'm sure she's won a match.
There's a few people, when you follow them on Instagram, when you like really, you see them pop up in your feed, it's always them busting their ass in the gym or training and like grappling or whatever they're doing. You can just tell they're constantly working on their craft.
Playing chess.
And
we lost Joe Galli again.
Connect 4. Kyle's always playing Connect 4 on his Instagram.
I think really Joe Galli got kidnapped and taken into one of those train cars back there or whatever is going on in his there. He lives in a train station. And,
on to the next one.
Well,
on to the next
someone I
one.
hope.
Hey!
Gosh.
He came up from under the desk.
Well, that was perfect because I was startled, much like all the competition will be when Max the Impaler enters the ring for the Burke Invitational. Now, Max was a force to be reckoned with. Now,
she's like
with Sinister
taking
Minister.
over Japan.
Yeah, she's stealing little
like
tiny Japanese people
Japan
to
like
eat for dinner. Yeah, I saw it. It's all over the internet.
That's the crazy part when you think about this, right? Like, for Max not to win, that means someone has to put Max down at some point in this competition, right?
Yep.
How can you picture
the
someone
secret is
doing that?
distraction. I distract Max with my pocket square and the microphone when Max is at the podium. It worked. It bought me some time. Thankfully, James Mitchell appeared out of nowhere and beckoned. And basically, I don't know, there was just like a weird laugh. Like, I don't know if it's like a whistle, like a deer whistle, where if you're on a certain level, if you hear the right sound, it gets you to do something. Can Sinister Minister compel Max the Impaler to be even more dangerous than Max already was? I don't know.
Why you got a cat called Deer, Kyle? That's a really weird fetish to have.
That is.
Hey, Maddie.
Hey, Maddie.
Giving us the Maddie eyebrow.
I do love Maddie. You talking about Sporty Spice? Literally, some of Maddie's gear is designed after Sporty Spice. So I know you're giving it to Missa Kate, but Maddie. Yeah,
there's only one.
Every time I've tried to talk to Maddie, very dismissive of me, and I've always taken that personally. Either she just can't be bothered, or she's just looking inside and realizing I'm not worth talking to. It's upsetting.
I don't see why both things can't be true at once.
There's
Angelina Love. Speaking of beautiful people, Angelina Love will be coming back to the ring. Burke Invitational. She's been making a name for herself. I'm still a little concerned about this friendship with Velvet Sky because it seems like they're on the rocks every now and then. But hey, that's just me not trying to start anything.
Yeah, she's got to be pissed because it with everything that's going on, But at the same time, she's got this opportunity here. I think she's going to take all of that energy that's going on, all the weirdness that might be happening with Velvet Sky and the Dirty Sexy Boys and all that weird energy that's there. If she puts all of that into this matchup here, I think it's going to be really in her favor.
Listen, I love seeing Angelina Love as much as anybody. You take that however you want to, but I feel like it's with the pride of the National Wrestling Alliance. She's walking in here and she's dominating every match she has. You gotta pull for somebody like Genocide sometimes, because Genocide's been in the National Wrestling Alliance, busting her ass, and she is ready to rise to the occasion, I think. And so
she's a cyborg.
Yeah. And I feel like, I mean, for me, I want to see a person like Angelina Love who comes in assuming due to all their other success, they run up against Genocide. Genocide shows them the NWA is a different level of competition. That's what I want.
What was that?
I mean, Genocide on the right night at any moment could be a champion. I agree with you 100%. And
what
also,
happened
Genocide,
to Danny Dealz? Danny Dealz just broke.
He got tickled.
That's fine. Just let him be tickled.
Well, last but not least, and unless Chelsea Green enters the Invitational, this is my pick, Natalia Markova.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
A lot of people have been picking that one.
Very, very
Yeah.
popular on the socials there. Has a whole army of people that are pulling for. And also, every match I've seen her in, she does not leave anything on the table. She is aggressive. She is all in. She is a competitor unlike any other. And this could be opportunity to get a world title shot on night 2 of NWA.
Do you guys remember that Genocide and Natalia Markova match that was on like Power?
They beat the hell out of each other.
Yeah. I mean,
I
they
don't.
kicked the hell out of each other.
And that's, I mean,
And then-
you make the point about Max. You know, somebody's going to have to eliminate Max to win this thing. You've also got to eliminate Genocide or Natalia Markova or Angelina Love. Like, there's so many competitors in this Invitational that for only one person to come out of this as the Burke Invitational winner, we're going to see some, quote unquote upsets happen.
I mean, I can't even call a winner because I don't know what order they're going to be, and that changes everything. It's like doing draft picks. You don't know if somebody picks your choice and this, that, and then this person comes in and then this, like anything could happen. I don't know. If Tootie Lynn's the last person that enters, I mean, Tootie Lynn, one of the smaller competitors in this match, could get an easy win based off who's still in the ring at that point. Who's to say? Not me.
Joe Galli has
still,
a golden
that's
dinosaur skull on his show.
He also has an Emmy, and I really don't want to talk about it right now.
That's where gauntlet matches intrigue me so much because, no matter the order, somewhere down the line, you're beating somebody that either took out Max the Impaler or took out somebody that took out Max the Impaler. You know what I mean? So it just constantly builds up. So whoever, is
3 degrees of Max the Impaler. That's how I always say. Like,
exactly. So
yeah.
But possibly as a tag team fan, the most exciting thing for me going down is these brand new titles. I know Dealz is feeling me.
I was going to say night 1 is so packed. What's to come on night 2? The United States Tag Team Championships will be decided. It's
Those
a title
belts are
that has a
coming back.
lineage. Oh boy.
With the Ill Begotten. They're coming back to Nashville with the Ill Begotten. Look at that right there. Look at brother. That's right, Daddy. So
I like how you couldn't even take your neck brace off for the promo photo. You just doctor's orders. You had to leave the neck brace on, even for photo shoots.
So quick
At
question.
the time, yes.
If the Ill Begotten end up winning the tag titles, are you going to do a Freebirds rule where anybody in the group can defend?
I was going to ask you about old Rush. Like, what's the?
It seems like you were on like Rush. I've been hearing rumors that you guys aren't exactly thinking Rush is the greatest fit. I think he's a great fit.
I think he's the worst.
You think he's the worst? Well, he's in your group still, and I got to be honest with you.
Technically, but I think that I told Plunkett to handle that. That boy's terrible. I think we should put him on waivers.
Well, I don't think Plunkett's handled it yet, so we're going to wait.
So you're saying maybe this week on Power we might get a little more information.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
He's like Bo Orlando or something. He's terrible.
I don't
know who that is. But you know who I know who this is? This is Hale Collins, Vic Delicious, the now gentlemen that have made their names all over the wrestling horizon, especially on the East Coast. Boys from my neck of the woods right there. They are going to be in the 10-team Battle Royal night 2. Could they be champions, or could these two gentlemen be champions?
Oh,
the miserably faithful Sal the pal, my pal, who's
get these pricks
really
out
going
of
through
here.
some
They're not
weird
winning
things.
nothing. Get them
No,
out.
they're
Goodness
not pricks.
Gracious.
Just because he's a leather daddy doesn't make him a prick. That's Gags the Gimp. These two men have great tag team continuity. They can win it all, especially.
By
with
the way, I
mind of
cut a
Mr.
deal
Moose
with
behind
that
him.
goofball and made him a shirt, and it's online right now. And so buy it with the
Dude.
discount. Get it out of here. So
I love the idea that you're trying to make a profit off the people you hate too. That's very smooth.
I'll cut a deal
for
with
what
anybody.
it's worth. I mean, I could just here you go. There it is. Skip It Ain't Easy shirt. NationalWrestlingAlliance.com/shop. This is the perfect time to mention it. Make sure you head over there and use promo code 74ish Dealz for 20% off.
There's a Magic Jake shirt up there for pre-order. I believe somebody asked about a Magic Jake shirt last week.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
a
up
great
there.
point. Yeah.
Will those two shirts be available at NWA 74? Because I love those two shirts.
Of course they will.
What the heck keeps happening to Joe Galli? That's what
Joe Galli has other things he needs to be doing right now. Joe Galli has a very busy life. He's a broadcaster.
He's
a
out reporting on
podcaster.
the
He's a
backup
reporter.
on,
He's a guy who every now and then helps run a wrestling company.
Oh, Go Rush. I like them, but they ain't winning. They'll be gotten win.
Even if they've got the genius Austin Idol in their corner.
Well,
I
they're
don't see
competing
him
the
on
night
that
before.
graphic,
We
so I
already
guess
had
he's
that
not
run
there.
down on there. So who knows? They could be going in store and beat up into this match. They might be at a disadvantage, but who's to say?
That's a good point. That's
Correct,
a good point.
Mundo.
Rough and ready.
They're not rough or ready. Them boys are out of here too. Get them out of here.
Oh, come on.
One of them just got put
Deontay
through a
and
table.
Devin Graves. Let's be honest here. These guys have just appeared on NWA programming as a tag team recently. And they're
Losing to
trying
the
to make a
Obi-Wan.
name for themselves. He's ironing his chinos.
That's right,
Noni
Noni.
McPony.
Yes.
There you go.
They
now,
lost to the Obi-Gotten, didn't they?
The question I have to say is I've never been put through a table before, so I
On
don't know what kind of
television.
bad
Oh,
effect
Kyle,
that has on
all
me.
you have to do is ask. I'm sure that somebody on the NWA roster will be more than happy, especially Mike Knox.
I mean, I've been punched in the face by Nick Aldis a year ago at NWA 73. So, hey, let's just keep up the streak going on this. But
Yeah, let's keep it
Devin
going.
Graves, we recently saw him go through a table on NWA. Mike Knox put him right through there. So what kind of condition he's going to be in? I don't know. We're less than 2 weeks away. Could he have a back condition? We'll find out during the United States Tag Team Championship match. But the Fixers, speaking of injuries, we keep on seeing Wrecking Ball Legursky. And I got to be honest with you, Jay Bradley, I keep on hearing the elephitis of the
Elephantitis.
Elephitis of the inner groin or something like that. All I know is the Fixer cream. I've looked at the injury report.
They'll be out of there too. I'm
Not
gonna
seem to
bribe
be
them with
working
pizza.
that great.
Did you
And,
say you looked at the injury?
I looked at the injury report. And since he's been on it so long, I keep on hearing about this Fixer cream. I don't know if it's doing the job. So if you've bought any, please be careful where you put it.
The Fixers have a lot of love. Despite how weird they are, they do have support.
Fixers do rule. I'm not going to lie. Fixers do rule. Country Gentlemen coming up on here. Up and coming tag team as well. Cousins of the Country Persuasion. Does that make them really cousins? Who's to say? All I know is it seems like everybody from that part of the world ends up being a Kazana.
But see,
these gentlemen,
Andrews isn't going to be at 100% because if you notice there, it appears he stubbed his toe. If you can tell by his expression,
or
so
he's got
not
a loose
gonna be all the
tooth.
way ready.
He could have a loose tooth. That looks like the face I make when I wiggle a tooth to see if it's okay after I fall.
Well, to your earlier point, they're the team that's going to be taking on Gold Rush in the pre-show on night one.
No, they're going to be beat up too.
Yeah, so they
disadvantage. Look at that.
Yeah.
Or advantage, because maybe they'll have that confidence. Speaking of confidence, Hawks Ari. This team right here has been on a roll lately. PJ has been in the junior heavyweight contention, and Luke, as we just spoke earlier in the podcast here, Luke being a celebrity, being on TV, being angry in the ring, everything's
PJ's
looking up.
not
I'm seeing
going to be
his
focused. So
well, I'm seeing the photos online, and let me say they look focused. Father and son, let's face it, at the end of the day, what better tag team than somebody that's of your own blood here? But every now
let's
and
put
then,
Joe Galli on screen real quick because
what
casual eating is a thing on Twitch. I've noticed.
I think I know what Joe's eating,
so,
by the way.
What do you
it's
think?
something you mention at the end of every episode.
People love it. Like people have like whole streams where it's just you just eat for people.
That's weird. Like an ASMR thing, like you want to hear me eat. That's gross.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I think our views could go up if we get Joe Galli eating.
End of episodes. It's gravy cakes. He's eating gravy cakes.
There you go. All right, we'll continue and just leave
What's
the
left?
stream
What
here.
are we talking about?
We're on night 2 of NWA 74. The problem is both these cards are so packed. There is so much competition and so much action that it's hard to keep track of everything. Here we are, Team Ambition coming up. We talked about, local talent that's going to end up being in the St. Louis area. We've got Mike Outlaw, Camaro Jackson. These gentlemen, unknown quantity in the National Wrestling Alliance, and sometimes all it takes is a surprise and the unexpected to come out on top. Could
look,
that
these
happen?
guys,
we'll find out.
These guys have their opportunity here. They have their opportunity to not only win the United States Tag Team Championships, but in either case, they have their opportunity to prove to President William Patrick Corgan, the entire NWA roster, why they deserve to be in the Alliance, what that means, who they are, what they represent from St. Louis. So, we've already seen what Tootie Lynn can do. This is more Team Ambition here.
Imagine being an inaugural champion on your first night in a company. That's bragging rights right there.
It's crazy. I wish,
but it's not going to happen. All right. Colby
Carino versus Caprice Coleman. Look at this. I'm told that there might be a secret stipulation involved here, and remains to be seen. But night 2, Colby Carino versus Caprice Coleman, and I'm told that this might have ramifications from something that's happening on night 2. That's night 1. That's the rumor I'm hearing backstage. But again, can't confirm or deny. When I listen in on things, sometimes I only hear partial conversations. Just put it out there.
All right.
You're such a gossipy bastard.
Can't help it.
Going to
Speaking of which, will Gary be a part of NWA 74? If you want to find out, I've got the hot buzz on that. You've got to call the hotline.
This is great. Yeah,
I always wanted to be our Mean Gene. I met Mean Gene once.
To say, we should have a hotline.
I met Mean Gene once. He did an autograph signing at Hard Rock Cafe in Atlanta when I was running that restaurant, and I was like, "Oh my God, Mean Gene!" I got a photo with him. It was a great moment. I told him how much I appreciated him. I'll always remember. I'm going on a tangent here. I'm sorry, but I told him the story, and I said, "You did this thing with Hulk Hogan back in 1995 that just won me over because you controlled." As EC3 would say, he controlled the narrative. Hogan, babyface, walks to the ring. Everybody's booing. Mean Gene looks around and goes, you can hear the audience not happy with the way the world is, but happy Hulk Hogan's here. And I was like, beautiful, beautiful.
I also loved about the hotline, from what little I remember of it, what you would have done in that segue has been like, is there a mysterious face from NWA's past going to be showing up at NWA 74? Call the hotline and find out. And he would talk
I've got
like
all the
7
news
minutes.
we can't share on the air. Join the hotline, 99 cents a minute. Find the things that we can't mention on here. Is the NWA going to be working with a secondary promotion? You'll have to find out on the hotline. And it's like, you already announced that you're doing a match with MLW. You've already announced that CYN is going to be a part of NWA 74, but you're going to call the hotline. You're going to hear the same damn thing.
No, you stick with it for 7 minutes for them to be like, and that mysterious face. Kyle Davis is talking about also being behind the podium again for NWA 74. You're like, that's it. You're like, well, he's also from NWA's past, and he's going to be at 74.
Actually, you know what? I am hearing rumors that there will be a face from NWA 74 past competing. It has not been announced yet, but there's an NWA face from the past that is lined up to be a part of this event. And you don't have to call the hotline because I can't share that with you, but still more news to come.
Colorado Kid.
Thank God we don't have a hotline.
This is the worst hotline.
Joe
we don't have.
Joe can attest.
And then disappoint people.
That's real. What I just said.
Hey, look, it's pretty empowered. They're kicking ass, ladies and gentlemen. They're the top of the food chain when it comes to women's tag team wrestling. They're going up against the Hex in a Kings Highway street fight. Can't wait for that one. You know it's going to be ultra violent, baby. Let's move to the next one. Hey, look at this matchup here. NWA World's Women's Championship. Is it going to be Camille? Is it going to be Taya Valkyrie? Will they face? Well, they're definitely going to face somebody from the Burke Invitational. You'll have to tune in to find out. Next one. Oh, and here we are. Main event time. NWA World's Heavyweight Championship match. Our television champion challenging Trevor Murdoch for the 10 pounds of gold. Who's walking out of St. Louis with Sweet Charlotte? You'll only find out night 2 of NWA 74.
All right. Well, Joe Galli helped push through there.
Yes, Dead Kobe.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe.
That was the go home.
74-ish deal.
That was the go home. All right. Let's talk about tomorrow night. Is NWA Power. Look at that. A big night of action. Every match matters.
What's Camille looking at?
She is looking over at
Joe's
whatever Joe's
cakes.
eating. Yeah. She's looking at. She's like,
She's probably looking at her husband.
Pancakes.
If her husband's standing over there, she's probably looking at him.
Yeah,
I like
could
this
be.
matchup here.
Riley and Paola Blaze versus Chelsea Green and Angelina Love.
Riley rocks. Whatever she's going by these days.
Riley Rocket? Is she
Yeah.
going by Riley Rocket? Okay.
Something like that. But
It says Riley.
What a team there with Chelsea Green and Angelina Love. I mean, you got
Beautiful People 2.0.
Yeah.
Maybe
The
Velvet
matter is,
tag team
do they
ever
have
done.
anywhere near as many social media followers as the team of Riley and Paula Blaze? I don't think so.
actually
Social
Paola
media
Blaze,
star.
maybe.
I mean, all I'm saying is this is a battle of who gets the most attention.
What's that? Hold on. I'm hearing something from the NWA universe out there, and they're saying they want new debuts in the National Wrestling Alliance, even heading into NWA
What?
74. Well, how about this? Tim Storm versus Larry D.
Lawrence D.
Also one of his cousins there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Larry.
Larry D showing up, making his NWA debut against the legendary former
Larry's that
world's
shoot
heavyweight
He's
champion.
going to kill Tim Storm because Tim Storm's a thug, and he beat
I
me
wonder
up.
who's going to be doing commentary. I mean, if Tim's wrestling, I mean, who's?
It's got to be Joe Galli.
Got to tune in and find out.
Larry D reminds me of Hugh Morris, just with the body type
I could
and the
see
physicality.
it. Yeah,
Except he doesn't laugh that much. Anyway,
that's true. But when when he became Hugh G. Rection, then he was.
all I know is I think Tim Storm's going to take Larry D to school.
And he
Come
was
on.
like Captain Rection, I think, during the Misfits in Action or something. Anyway, all right. How about another debut? Haley Shadows making her debut. How about you make your debut and only face like world champions or former world champions? That's no where you want to be, Haley.
Well, you want to
You're
get
gonna-
in, you got to pay the toll, right?
That's it. All right. Well, good luck to Haley Shadows as she takes on NWA Women's World Champion Camille.
So what if Haley Shadows
looks
actually
awesome,
wins
but-
this match? She calls herself Barbie Killer. Camille, blonde, champion.
Well, then Haley will be defending the title against Taya.
No, it's a non-title match, but I'm just saying this could change the way things are going. If you have an emotional defeat, it could really ruin everything else you're going on. Haley Shadows could be the individual that destroys NWA 74 for Camille. Just putting that out there.
Well, and then in the main event, Black G's is taking on Rodney Mack. Eric Stevens,
Friend of the
course,
show,
in
Black
his
G's.
corner. Yeah, of course.
Church is money.
Church's Money Enterprises. We love that guy. So
Joe, did you not just see Rodney Mack this weekend?
I did see Rodney Mack this weekend in a dog collar match where he bled a lot. So this might be a good shot for Black G's here because Rodney Mack was in a dog collar match like 2 seconds ago.
That's
Hey, Gary,
perfect. So he
code
needs
up
to get
again.
that transfusion to get that back in that
Mhm.
iron because otherwise, geez, it's going to be going against a very worn out.
Gary,
Rodney
put
Mack.
the code up again. It was asked for in the chat.
Yeah.
oh,
come on,
yeah,
brother.
that code.
You got
NationalWrestlingAlliance.com
lots of good gear.
/shop. Use promo code 74ish deals. That's 74ISHDEALZ for 20% off in the chat. How long does that last, Deals?
We'll go a week. Why not?
All right, we're going a week. All right, so
Going
heading
a week.
into the
Sunday
go
to
home
Sunday
week for
or
74.
Monday to Sunday? Is it Sunday to Saturday? Well, how's your week go? That's always bothered me. I think a week is Monday to Sunday.
It could be
but sometimes
7
it's
days
Sunday
from
to
this
Saturday.
moment.
Joe
Yeah,
Galli's
that's what
over
I'd.
it. Joe Galli is over it.
All right, well, Joe Galli, you know what Joe Galli needs to really ease his mind, and we can't leave a show if we don't have.
I think we need a moment of Sal.
We
Oh,
do need a moment of sound.
All you need is love, love, love. Love is all you need. All you need is love, love, love. Love is all you need. All you need is love, love, love. Love is all you
Something's
now-
wrong with that dude.
This
Well,
is why
now
I
we
can
know
never
who the
find him during
Blair
taping
Witch
days.
Jesus Christ, man. What the hell?
You got to wonder what those people across the street looking out their front window is like. The hell's going on over there?
This guy in his underwear is like building things out of sticks.
And a leather jacket.
Yeah. Oh, that's Sal. I love it. I feel like it's just important to have a moment
Get
of
him outta
Sal every week to send you into the start of the NWA week.
He should be banned.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that, Danny Dealz, but we are
I
happy
could totally
that all
use
of
Joe's
you are
back
here.
scratcher right now, but because of monkeypox, I know I shouldn't have used somebody else's back scratcher.
Oh, Jesus
Kind
Christ.
of monkeypox. Fuck you, Kyle.
I'm saying you just gotta
What's
play
wrong
it
with
safe. You just gotta play it safe.
God
You shouldn't be
damn.
using other people's back scratchers.
Disease? Jesus.
Listen,
Christ.
We 100% have to have the FU Kyle.
He does
sorted
travel
out
a
just to
lot.
play randomly.
Oh, boy.
We'll put it on the soundboard.
All
That's
right.
also why you don't
Well,
hug Sal Renaro. Because who knows
special
where he's been.
thanks to people like Polka Dot Pam and Naughty McPotty and Doty and Willie and Axel and Caps and gosh, so many of you today. Hitman, Wild Arms, Nathan. Thank you guys so much for being here. Willie, it's good to see you. Certified, David, all of you. It's too many names. Thanks so much for everybody hanging out with us. It's been a lot of fun. Yeah, Nathan, I'm with you 100%. Not expecting Joe to drop the bomb tonight, but he did.
What is the bomb?
And that's why you got
Kyle
to
got
sit
it
through the
out.
whole show.
Yeah, I told you to go fuck yourself, Kyle.
I gotta be honest, guys. I work with Joe every day, and I just don't even hear him tell me to go F myself anymore because it's just like
White noise.
Yeah, it's white
Noise.
noise.
Fall asleep at night.
We do like
White
you
noise.
too, Dead Kobe, I promise.
Yeah.
So from Will, me, Kyle, Danny Dealz, Joe Galli,
And EC3.
everybody at EC3. Thanks for being here, everybody. We're going to see you next week in the go home to NWA 74. It's going to be exciting. We're going to have everything. We'll run down everything, and who knows who's going to be here. It's going to be exciting. Make sure you tune in. Tell your friends. NWA Extra. That's youtube.com/NWA Extra. Twitch.tv/This Is The NWA. You can also hit at TIPW Show or just follow along any of those places. We'd love to have you. And thanks so much for being here. And till next time, everyone, enjoy your gravy cakes and go fuck
Joe
yourself.
already
Kyle.
did. He was eating gravy cakes.
Yeah. Go fuck yourself, Kyle.